Hi, and welcome to part 2. We're doing freezer meals this week, and I'm about to start on some more chicken meals, one of which is brown sugar bourbon chicken. That's what we're doing right now. I have a little scale, and I've weighed my meat. I get 4 ounces of meat per person. So as I trimmed my chicken breast for a different recipe, I put all my chicken tenders to the side. The chicken breasts that I buy are enormous. They're about a pound a piece, which is absurd, but we won't go into that. And so I trim them, and I usually get 3 servings at least off of each one, and some trimmings to go into a little bag for me and my family to make like orange chicken tenders. So the brown sugar bourbon chicken is nothing much at all. It's chicken. It is a package of brown sugar bourbon marinade. And then we're going to put a 1/4 cup of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Now I'm putting my chicken, my marinade, and my wet ingredients down in the bottom. Sometimes I eyeball adding ingredients, but I never eyeball adding acid because I've messed that up plenty of times. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. That is going to be a very nice bite to add some sour, maybe a little umami flavor. Now, take your chicken with those moist ingredients and the dry marinade, and just squish it all up together. I mentioned in the last video, I'm using a lot of convenience foods for these meals. I have a wedding to plan, and so this week and next week I'm doing convenience meals that go in the freezer, and then for the next month I'll be planning wedding, and we are planning on a very tight budget. And so I'll be going over all of that with you too. It has been interesting to see what we can do for our budget. And I'm just going to put the green beans in on top. I already have my bag labeled. This is for 4 people. I have my bag labeled with the instructions, which is simply to put this in your crock pot, to turn it on low for 4 to 6 hours or high for 3 to 4 hours. When I put it in the crock pot, I want to make sure that the meat gets down on bottom. So that's very beautiful. Let's start recipe number 2. Next, recipe number 2 for this section, it's actually recipe number 4. So we're doing 10 today. I'm just getting all my chicken recipes out of the way at once, so that I don't have to wash my knife and cutting board but one time after I finish all of the chicken. I'm adding 4 4-ounce chicken breasts to a good quality freezer bag, and I'm adding a package of mojito lime seasoning. So that is going to be delicious. Now that smells good. I've never had a mojito, but if it smells like that, I think I would be tempted. All right, so we got our mojito lime out of the way. Again, we have to add a 1/4 cup of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and also a tablespoon of honey. Now, I said these were all convenience ingredients, but I did not buy my honey from the store. I got it from my own beehives. My dad tends my beehives on his land, and I go help him sometimes. I tried to do bees on my land, but I didn't have enough forage for them, so they died. But they are thriving on his land. They're out in a field. 1 tablespoon of that good honey. They're out in a field with a lot of clover, and the whole field is lined with privet, and they just go gangbusters. And I have flow hives. I don't know if you're familiar with a flow hive, but you don't have to take the frames out. You turn a key and the honey flows out of a tube into your jar. You don't have to disturb the bees at all, and it is phenomenal. I have some videos on my channel, some flow hive honeybee videos with me and my dad working those hives. And so if you're interested in seeing what that is, go ahead and check that out. It has been very rewarding and a lot of fun, and I think my dad has really had a good time with it. All right, so in here we have our marinade packet, we have our apple cider vinegar, we have our olive oil, and that delicious homegrown honey. I mean, when you stack it up next to the store-bought honey, there's just no contest. I mean, I use mostly store-bought honey in my recipes for my customers because I wouldn't dare, you know, go to all that trouble and then give that honey away for the price that you can buy store-bought honey. But today is an exception because it's just a tablespoon per bag, and I only have one bag to make other than the things that I'm going to do for myself. So I thought I would go ahead and do it. This is butternut squash. It has already been cut up, washed. It's ready to go. That sweet squash with that honey bourbon marinade and that little bite from the lime and the apple cider vinegar is going to be just, oh, beautiful and perfect for dinner when you get home from a busy day. So that is honey lime chicken recipe number 4. We have some butternut squash. You just cook it on low 4 to 6 hours or high 3 to 4 hours, and you're good to go. We have tacos a lot at our house, so having something that I can dump in the crock pot like that honey lime chicken to put into some tortillas or over some rice, or this next recipe, fajita turkey tacos, is a great thing for us because the kids love it and we don't have any trouble with them eating their dinner or wanting to stay here for dinner, as it were, because they're mostly grown. 2 18-year-old girls and a 16-year-old boy are left at home. But I like for them to be excited about dinner, and this is one thing that we can do that they really love. So most grocery stores will have frozen turkey in 1-pound packs. Just be careful because my grocery store thought that Italian turkey was a good substitute for just plain frozen turkey, which all of us who eat food and cook food know that if you're making turkey tacos, you don't need to use Italian turkey. So I had to run in and get a substitute. Lots of times they tell me it's not available, and I go into the grocery store and it's right there in the bin. So to one bag that's feeding 4 people, I'm adding 1 pound of turkey, and to the other bag that's feeding 6 people, I'm adding 1.5 pounds of turkey. Then for the fajita aspect, we're going to use peppers. Now it calls for a 16-ounce bag of peppers and onions. Again, we're using convenience items this week to make our lives easier. So far on these 5 recipes, even with filming, I have been working 1 hour and 15 minutes. And within 1 hour and 30 minutes, I'm about to have 5 recipes finished for not only my family, but 3 or 4 dinner-to-go families as well. So the convenience foods are really making it easy. Now if you want 16 ounces, that is 3 heaping cups. And that's what I want, is 3 heaping cups in my full size. And then 2 cups in my half size, which I'll do in just a minute. And then taco seasoning. It's as easy as that. Although I think I'm going to add a little oil to it just because turkey is so lean and I want to make sure that everything, well, you know, I'm going to have all of that moisture coming out of the vegetables, so I think I'm just going to follow the recipe exactly. If you can call it a recipe, these are not really recipes. These are find convenience ingredients, pair them with one another, and call it a day. So I need 1.5. I know from experience that there's 4 tablespoons in this packet, so I'm going to take out 2 tablespoons from the packet, and then I'll put the other 2 tablespoons in something for us later with those leftover black beans maybe. And there you have it. Fajita turkey tacos. You could make tacos, of course, with this. You could make fajita turkey nachos, fajita turkey rice bowls. It would be delicious. Fajita turkey salad. All of that would go really well with this. Oh, I forgot to put my instructions on there. But they're instructions just like every other crock-pot recipe that we've made today. Except for, oh, I hate when I do this. It's so hard to write on the bag afterwards. We have to add 1/2 cup of water. Oh, add 1/2 cup water to the crock pot. I would forget to write it on the one that had 4 instructions instead of 1 instruction. That's always the way it goes, isn't it? If something's going to happen, it's going to be the hardest way to fix it. We're going to cook it on low for 4 to 6 hours, or high for 3 to 4 hours. Then we have to shred. Oh, it's getting down here where it's cold. It's hard to write on it. Shred. Oh, phooey. It's not going to work right now. I'm going to have to bunch it up there so it's not cold, and then try again in a few minutes. But anyway, you get the gist. So this is part 2 of our 10 crock pot freezer meals that we're doing this week. Stay tuned. Next is pork and beef. I hope you'll enjoy these. Have a great day. Like, share, subscribe.